Welcome to Digital Two-Foot Traffic. I am Kevin Shi.
And I am Scott Jensen. We are digital marketers with massive experience in running brick and mortar stores.
Join us each episode as we explore the latest digital marketing trends and uncover strategies from the best in the industry. Okay, welcome to another episode of Digital Two-Foot Traffic. I'm your host, Kevin Shi. And today, I'm by myself today because Scott's available for this podcast. So today we have a special guest all the way from UK. His name is Jon Quinton from Overdrive Digital. Hi, John. How are you doing?
Hey, Kevin. Good to be here. Thank you very much.
I can't believe I know you for a while now, and this is the first format that we talk as a podcast show.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about yourself? I think I met you in Singapore, or one of your colleagues in Singapore, because of a conference. And we worked with you guys for a few times at first for SEO Matters, and you guys kicked ass. We improved our conversion from SEO by 100% plus. And then you're working on pay social now. Can you describe a bit about your backgrounds and what you're doing right now and your company, please?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no problem. So, I've been in online marketing now for over 10 years. It kind of started out as a hobby. So, way before this, I used to play guitar for a living.
Wow. And, on the streets?
Yeah. No, not streets. So
the underground.
I used to teach. Yeah. No. So I never got a license. So, okay. No, I used to teach guitar and play guitar and kind of do all that sort of stuff, and it was great. But I set up a website teaching guitar online.
Okay.
And
so you filmed yourself, and then you just made money when you're sleeping, when people just watch your videos.
Yeah, it was a subscription site, and it was my first foray into kind of doing anything online, and
it was all self-taught.
Yeah, and I just couldn't afford to hire someone to do the SEO on it, basically. So worked out how to do it myself, and just
wait a minute.
Really.
Back in those days, doing it yourself means link farming, right?
It was completely different. It was completely different, and everything was different. Like PPC was different. Yeah, got really into it and got really kind of excited by building traffic to a website and all of that kind of stuff. And that grew into working for some local businesses. And then since then, I've been agency side. So worked kind of agency side with anything from small startups to huge global brands. And then
so that's when you decided that digital marketing was the avenue or your career that you want to pursue, right? Did you take any formal courses, or everything was self-taught from the internet?
It was self-taught, as pretty much everyone I know kind of learned it themselves. And then obviously as you meet people and you get into different jobs, you get training and you learn from other people. And, it changes so quickly. That seems to be the best way to do it. And then, so a year ago, I left my position at an agency called Built Visible in London, who are amazing. Yeah, and that's where we connected up. And then, since then I've been running Overdrive Digital, which is my new agency, and we specialize primarily in paid social. So
when I met you was more like an SEO thing, and I guess it was more of an SEO plus PR, how you guys would do amazing content that will be linked and be shown in like major media houses like CNN or BBC. And then a few years, 2 years after, I had a crisis. So I wasn't really into digital for a while. And then when I got back up on my feet and contacted you again, actually you came to Hong Kong because you're stopping by, and then we talked again and we connected, and you switched to pay social. What was your motivation and drive from doing SEO to pay social? Because those are a bit different fields.
Completely different. It's a good question. I just found, so the paid social side of things, like the Facebook advertising, and it's just so exciting. Yeah. I just find it personally so interesting. Okay. And when I set up this business, I wanted to do something I really got excited by. And it's a growing market. People are starting to, brands are starting to kind of allocate more budget to it. And, it's developing all the time. And, it just settled on it really. And it's massively exciting and can't wait to kind of see where it goes.
I remember when you mean paid social, can you define it? Is it just Facebook or any social media platform there is?
Yeah, so broadly speaking, you can advertise on most platforms or social networks. So like we do a lot on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We do a bit on Twitter. You can obviously advertise on platforms like Pinterest if you want to. But yeah, we tend to, like, the majority of our work is Facebook and Instagram, but we do a lot of B2B on LinkedIn as well. So that's where we tend to do the most of our work.
I see. And may I ask you, how is it different from like a paid social campaign, which is a social media platform, which I suspect is they push information to you, right? Versus Google search, where you're searching for information. So my business, for example, self-storage, people wouldn't search me because they're bored. They search me like plumbing because they need it, right? So for services like ours, it's effective to do paid social. Or versus just a restaurant where you're just pushing information. Can you tell the difference between like a search and a social, paid social?
Yeah, I think so. This is a really good point, and I think it's a mistake that a lot of people make when they go into it. I don't know about that. Yeah. A lot of people assume that, okay, we've been spending X amount of our budget on paid search now for the last however many years. Let's move into paid social and see if we can repeat exactly what we've done. And they're two completely different channels, right? So you got the nail on the head, as it were, and the intent is completely different. So someone goes to Google, they search for what they need. Through PPC, you put your brand in front of them at that specific point. Whereas on paid social, like, no one goes onto Facebook to buy a product or to, get storage or anything like that at all. Like, they're there to almost escape that decision-making thing. So, like, the intent is completely different. So you have to approach it in a different way, and you have to be a bit more conversational. You have to kind of think about how you're going to capture people while they're not looking for what you're doing, and then nurture them through a funnel, basically. Also, there's got to be a different expectation on the results. So, if your business converts at a certain rate and at a certain cost on paid search, that behavior will not be repeated on paid social. Like, there will be different CPAs, or it will convert differently. Everything is different. So, but that is a mistake that people make, and it's more of an expectation thing, I think, than anything else. So that is completely.
What kind of retail? Because this show is about like retail stores, like storage or whatever, anything with physical location. What kind of stores do you think that works best with paid social?
So I think in most businesses there will be something you can do, and it might not be Facebook, it might be other channels. I mean, in terms of managing a campaign, e-commerce it's far more black and white, because you can track the revenue directly. You know what you spend, you know what you sell. It's a lot more direct. Whereas with a physical store, if you're, like you guys almost, like if you're driving inquiries or if you're driving footfall traffic into a physical store, you've got to have some method of understanding what happens next. So there's this gap between someone clicking on an ad or seeing an ad on Facebook, going into the store. How do you know what they've purchased? How do you know, what they've done? Do you even know if they've gone into the store? So that brings its own set of challenges. But the fact that you can target so locally, and you can target so specifically, you can focus on mobile far more heavily. I think it does definitely lend itself to getting people into a physical store. You just have to have a method for tracking that activity back to your...
I guess me and you has worked on the method of tracking it. I think the latest we've come up with is if they fill in a form, and then we give them a code when they're actually in the store, and that code would link back to with the conversion of the form. So even if they fill in the form, it's not considered as a conversion. I guess that's a one step up for us. Which is getting more and more accurate, and then you can measure the different types of traffic and the lifetime value of that traffic.
Exactly.
So it is I think, in my opinion, is pretty that's a very crucial detail of physical stores, how you measure conversions, because not all form fillers, as we like my campaign that I had with you, for example, right? Until we add that location button there was a lot of people just randomly filling in forms that weren't really purchasing, right? So there's a lot of fine bit tunings that you have to know.
Exactly. if you don't get that right, you could be running a campaign and the numbers look amazing, but what you're actually doing is filling the sales team's time up with inquiries that don't matter. So it's actually a negative thing. Yeah. So Facebook now have a tool called offline conversions. Right?
Okay.
So if you imagine, right, let's say we're sending people into like a physical store to buy furniture, for example. Yeah. You can run your campaigns as you would normally run them on Facebook. And then if you can get an email address at the point of sale.
Yes.
So when someone buys a sofa, you take their email address and you send them the receipt, or you follow up with them or whatever. If you've got that data, you can use offline conversions to match those email addresses against people that have engaged with your campaign. So you can start to kind of, even if the sale is offline and in store,
as long as they give you a telephone number or email, you can match it to them, right?
As long as you get some data that will match exactly. So I don't know what it's like in Hong Kong, but now if you do, so when I am not a big fan of physical shopping. I am an online shopping
but
fanatic.
Nevertheless, you're a guest on this show, so you have to give us some pointers. Yeah,
exactly. So
and there's
more and more now.
Yeah, there's some things that you have to do, like physical locations, like a gym or like a barber shop, or self-storage, right? So not all physical things. Maybe e-commerce are moving more and more online, but brick and mortar still have its presence and value still.
Oh, precisely. Yeah, precisely. So, I mean, I was buying like a bulb for my car the other day, right? Okay. And you go to the till, you pay, and pretty much everyone now will say, okay, can I have your email address so we can send you your receipt?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the trick, right?
yeah. And as a marketer, I'm going, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. But that's becoming more and more common. So if you do need to track offline conversions against an online campaign on Facebook, then you can do that. Definitely.
Let me ask you another question about location targeting, because a lot of retail stores are very they work within a diameter of their physical location, right? How accurate is Facebook's targeting in terms of location versus Google? For example, Google search, in US, for example, you can just put a postal code there, and then they'll only target people within that postal code, right? And I understand you have something similar to Facebook. How accurate is that, or what's the difference? What does people who uses Facebook or Google have to know about targeting that location?
Yeah, so there's a few different layers to it on Facebook.
Okay.
And you kind of have to make the right decision for your particular circumstances, right? Your situation. So you can obviously target by country. You can target by like region within a country. You can target to people in a city. Yeah. You can target by postcode. Yeah. You can target
even by postal code. You can do it in Facebook.
You can do that. Yeah. You can target people within a certain radius. Okay. So you could drop a pin on a map where your store is, and you can target people within a mile or 2 miles. Okay. You have to be a little bit careful with that, because the options on Facebook are you can either target people who have recently been within that location. Okay. Or people who live within that location. Okay. So you have to be a little bit careful to make sure that you're targeting the right mix. Basically, because if you get that wrong, then you could obviously, that kind of screws up your location targeting somewhat.
And your opinion is pretty accurate versus like Google and all that?
Yeah. Okay. From what I've seen. Okay. I mean, the data that Facebook have is incredible. Everyone pretty much is logged in all the time on their mobile device. They've got it in their pocket. Yeah. They know where you are.
And let me ask you about setting up an ad campaign. I guess there's various types. There's you can set on people who clicks onto your website. You can set to people who just likes your fan page or like what you say. You can set on the most share, I think. What's the best promotional setting that you should do? Because, for example, if I'm doing like a hair transplant or something like that, I'm not gonna like it. So setting up for likes for a product that people find to be like more secretive is gonna backfire. Versus this is more like a top of a funnel where you're just educating your customers about your product, right? Maybe conversion may not be the ideal type at the beginning if this is the beginning of the funnel. What's your take on this?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think it's probably important to explain the difference between those campaigns. So like if you're setting a campaign up on Facebook, this is the first thing that you will see. Like you'll have things like 15 options, right? So you can set up a campaign for video views, you can set up a campaign for engagement, i.e., like likes and comments. You can set up a campaign for traffic, conversions, leads, etc., etc., etc. What that decision means is that determines what Facebook will optimize the delivery of your campaign for.
And the question is, as a retail store owner who wants more traffic to their stores, what would be the best one? Should we be set for conversions, or like, I don't know, what do you suggest?
It does vary by case by case, and it's not always the obvious choice that you should go for. So let's take the conversion campaigns, for example, right? So, if we're running an e-commerce campaign, obviously the goal is conversions. But if we set up a conversion campaign, that means we're saying to Facebook, okay, let's say we've got an audience of 200,000 people.
Yes.
So take that audience, work out of those 200,000 people who are most likely to convert, and optimize the delivery of our ads to those people, prioritize those people.
Okay.
But if you're a new store, or if the volume of conversions is quite low, Facebook won't get enough data to understand who to deliver those ads to in order to get those conversions, because there won't be enough data in the pixel for Facebook.
So it really depends on the number of how much data you have.
Yeah, so in that case, you would probably pick a traffic campaign, for example, or optimize for traffic instead. So, it's not always the obvious choice, because everyone wants conversions.
Yeah,
like everyone wants. That's
not
why you run
really.
a campaign.
A lot of these beginners who have no experience of digital marketing, they just want likes. I mean, the sophistication. My understanding, the sophistication in Hong Kong or a lot of parts of Asia, they just want likes, and it's pretty stupid, because they think they just want more awareness for their products. And the problem is, if you optimize for likes in Hong Kong, they'll send to a lot of these Filipinos or Malaysians or Indonesians living in Hong Kong, because this is quite strange, because it's cultural difference, but they like to like everything they've read, not because they really like it, because they just marked it that they read it. Right. So if you optimize for like, and then they'll send it to the lowest denominator, which would be people that was not going to buy from you. They just like it as a habit. Right.
Yeah. I mean, likes is a false metric, really. Like if sometimes it serves a purpose, right? So let's say we're running a conversion campaign. What we'll sometimes do is run a product ad as an engagement ad first to just pick up some likes and comments, so that when we run it as a conversion ad, there's some social proof behind it. So the goal isn't to get the business likes, the goal is to get the conversions, but by having some social proof and engagement on the ad before it goes live, it really helps. So, but back to that point on, if you have a problem where you are with like the wrong audience engaging with the ad, then that's really where you have to start thinking about exclusions in your targeting. So, like we do that with your campaigns, right? So
testing,
we know, we just exclude, expats from certain countries, or we exclude people that we know aren't going to convert, like younger age groups, that type of thing, who might like and engage with the ad but have no need to buy storage. So you have to be aware of what to exclude as well. Like, and it's perfectly possible to do that. Like, it's not difficult.
I got 2-part question. One part question is, if I were to have a store with many items on it, and I want to use Pay Social, how would I do it? Should I list, just say I have 200-300 items? Should I list every item on my Facebook page for sale, or should I just ask people, like make a video and just drive people to my physical location, or what do you suggest?
If you're selling online, or if you're selling in a physical store?
I guess I'm selling in the physical store, but I want people to know what items I have, I guess.
Got you. Yeah, that makes sense. So there's 2 ways to approach that. So, I mean, the first thing is I would always start with your top sellers.
Okay.
So, start with the top sellers, see what the reaction is on Facebook. We've found with some clients that there's only a small number of products that will sell well on Facebook.
Okay.
Like there might be a certain number of products that, where the price is great, the availability is good, or, they just seem to work, right?
Yeah.
So I would always start with your top sellers and just try and work out what products are going to resonate best on Facebook. Definitely.
And my second, go on.
Yeah, the second side to it is if you are selling online, you can run catalog campaigns. So that's where you put your shopping feed in to Facebook, and Facebook will understand based on your behavior on the website what products you're interested in, and it will serve you ads based on that behavior.
So based on what you serve, how you serve the Facebook, like how you browse through Facebook, it'll serve you related items on it.
Yeah, or if I've gone to your website and looked at a product, added it to my basket but not purchased, then it will serve me an ad with that product.
Oh, so that's like a remarketing.
You can do it with remarketing, or you can do it based on behavior. Yeah. So that allows you to put your entire catalog in and kind of get Facebook to optimize the delivery of those products based on people's behavior. So that's super exciting and very
Is that new?
Powerful no, it's been around a while now. Been around for a while.
So you have your entire catalog on your own website, but it's optimized with Facebook. And based on users' ability to click through your website, they remarket for you, right? So it's like more like a remarketing ad, right?
Kind of, yeah. So you just feed all your products in through a shopping, like an XML feed into Facebook. But for an e-commerce retailer, that's massively powerful.
Okay. What about lookalike audiences? I've heard that many, many times about Facebook. How accurate is that? And is that practical for like a retail store?
They are so good. Yeah. I mean,
it's getting even better. I heard it's getting better and better because as more and more data comes into effect, right?
Yeah. They are like, we regularly see them outperforming interest-based audiences.
Wow. So,
like, again, a bit of context here. So within Facebook, there's 3 key methods for targeting. Like the first one is interests. So that's where you say, I want to target people who are interested in these brands or these fan pages or these products. And, you set your own targeting. The second type are lookalike audiences. And then the third type is retargeting. So broadly speaking. So the lookalike audiences, this is where you feed Facebook some data. So it might be a list of email addresses from your past customers. It might be pixel data from your website. So people who have visited your website, that type of thing. And then Facebook will take that data and build a much larger audience of people who match the behavior.
And can you limit that by size location? Because like if my store is in Texas and then they have a lookalike in California, Facebook may not know, and they still serve them, and it's pretty much useless to us, right?
Yeah, so you can do it on a location basis. So, for example, we can feed your data in and say, okay, take these 1,000 email addresses and build a lookalike audience of people in Hong Kong, and you can set the size as well. So you can say it's basically 1 to 10%, and that's population size. So a 1% lookalike is 1% of the population that matches your demographics, the data that you fed them, basically. So, but they perform incredibly well. So, like what we tend to do with a new campaign, and this is what I would recommend if people are setting something up. So we would typically start with something like a lookalike audience based on past customers, a lookalike audience based on like your newsletter or something like that, and then a couple of other interests. So we'll run, say, 4 of these ad sets in parallel, and we'll just see which one works best. Because you don't really know, if you're a new advertiser, you don't really know what's going to work until you've tried it. But lookalikes typically do very well.
This is from the big data engine of Facebook, yeah?
Yeah. And it's as a human being.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's a tendency to say, well, I know my audience better.
Yeah.
I know what they like. I know who they are. But so I'm going to set my own targeting.
Yeah. Machine learning is more accurate. That's for sure, right?
But it's amazing. And it's a particularly powerful tool for businesses where it's hard to target on Facebook.
Okay.
So, say, for example, we've had this a few times, like a medical product or like a medical service where like I can't go onto Facebook and target people who are sick.
Yes.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
So
lookalike.
So you go, right, well, look, here's the type of people that tend to buy this product, and here's the type of people that
So
Facebook will work out. Yeah.
So basically, they are targeting people who are sick.
I don't know if they're actually, but you get my point. Like, if you can't actually, like, drill down into your audience specifically because of your type of product or business, then lookalikes are hugely powerful.
And let me ask you about, besides paid social, what about like having your own Facebook fan page, like the old days, and just regularly pumping contents there? I know now that Facebook is so diluted, if you don't put some money to sponsor your post, it's not going to reach anywhere. Is it necessary to maintain like your fan page fresh with new content on a regular basis that complements your paid social strategy? And what as a store, what's necessary? What are the key takeaways to manage your Facebook fan page?
Yeah, I think they're still definitely important. Like, you still need one. But you cannot reach the amount of people that it used to be like for free. So you have to pay something, right? So it's not like it used to be. It's very much pay to play now. So Facebook's starting to split the feeds. Into so in your app you'll have a feed for all the stuff that's going on with your friends, and then you'll have a separate feed for pages that you follow. So they're separating them out, which is going to have a huge impact on an already reduced reach organically for a page. So it's happening. It's the way it's going.
I guess for a store and operator, like the key thing is like they put in your face, keep it clean. Put in the visible areas, like what items you're selling, how you can be reached, your hours of operations, your address, and everything. I guess has to be matched with your what you're listed in the Google website. So when the crawl engine crawls, everything is in sync in one page, right? Yeah,
and I think like as a you have to have a home on Facebook, and you keeping it populated is always a good thing. Keeping people engaged is a really good thing. What we tend to do is like, there's nothing wrong with running like a very low cost. Like if you're putting content up, just promoting that content to your own audience. And yes, you have to pay to reach your full audience, but like $1 or like $2 a day or something just to get your content to your audience, I think is money well spent, and it keeps the engagement on the page up, which increases. It's like a quality score on Facebook. So the more engaged people are with your brand, the more favorable Facebook is going to look on you.
What about what about sites, stores that have like multiple locations, like 15, 20? Is it good practice to have one physical one page per site? Because I remember before, like Facebook have these Facebook location pages, or like Walmart, right? Walmart in this street, Walmart in that street. What do you recommend? Is just one general page, or like a break up pages for everything?
Yeah, so like what you can do is have it's almost like a hub.
Google Places, right? Facebook Places, right? So you make like a store for every physical location, so people can check in. Do you recommend that? And does that have to have unique content, or can the master content be shared among all 15, 16 sites?
Yeah. So what you would usually do is like have like your main brand page, and then set up sub locations so people can check in. So you would usually like house your branded content in the main hub, and you would keep that updated all the time. And then it depends on resource, I suppose, but yes, you want to be able to allow people to check in, like particularly if you've got like a chain of bars or something. Like it's really important.
So the factor that you have many sub page or Facebook Places doesn't make a better difference than if you have just one page, right?
But yeah, I mean, if you just have to set it up correctly so they're all interlinked.
And that's the trick, right?
That's the key. That's the key. So yeah, I mean, what we tend to do as an agency is focus a lot more on the paid side of things. So like, I think they're getting closer, because like even with the organic side of things, you have to pay. But like we typically, for me, like the paid social like campaigns are a very different thing to the like just general social media strategy.
Can you elaborate on some of the more outstanding paid social campaigns that you've done for your customer, and you just went, wow, we did this, and the result was off the wall. Can you share some of your past huge success with us?
Yeah, sure. So what sort of thing would you like?
Well, anything that, like, maybe some fine-tuned ideas that you guys implemented and the result was much, much better than you expected.
Yeah, so we've just done, like, obviously, like, we just kind of come through the Black Friday sales, and, like, November is a huge month in retail here. So, like, we had, like, a particular retail client here where we've increased spend now since the beginning of the year, probably 4 or 5 times. Revenue has gone.
So they're linked to e-commerce. So people
4 or 5 times as well.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So people actually buy from Facebook, like directly the product. You don't just drive traffic into their store. They order directly online, right?
Yeah, this is retail. Yeah, online. So e-commerce. Yeah. So look, we had a huge month with them, and that was kind of all based on, primarily lookalikes, but getting the retargeting set up. So massive success with the catalog ads.
Catalog ads. Okay.
Yeah.
And remarketing is not just the brand; it's whatever whatever item they looked at in the store. You put that picture of that item in the remarketing ad as well, right? Yeah. So that's like more.
But we achieved almost a 10 times spend on that.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing. Okay. Yeah.
So it was great, and they had like a sales record. That we got a Facebook record. Everything was kind of the biggest it's ever been. So that was massively successful. But that's the result of really building up to it. So lots of time pre that event working out what audiences work best, what ads work best, what products work best, what's the how do we drive traffic and then get that traffic into the retargeting audiences. And over the months prior, like, we had a very clear picture of what was going to work, which meant when it came to like peak trading time, like, we could just completely dial it up, and that was great. Been massively happy with the stuff we're doing with you guys as well. That's working. Right?
Yeah, it's doing well. I mean, traditionally Facebook don't work for storage. I mean, if you can work with us, you can probably get some like pesticide customers now, like plumbing customers, because I'm pretty surprised because we are a need-based service. Like, you don't think, like, you can't push it to it, but for some reason is doing pretty well. I hope we can lower the CPA a bit further more. And another thing that we're working with you is we're sending you how long they're staying. So maybe with the actual lifetime value of each customer, maybe you can allocate the campaign a bit differently, so we can focus on more value added customers too. But yeah, I'm happy with you guys doing that. What do you expect to be coming out with Facebook or pay social in general in the next 3-4 years? What are you excited about it?
So I think like, one thing is, like, Facebook is like by far the most sophisticated paid social platform. Like, the amount you can do on there is amazing, and it's developing all the time. So I'm hoping other platforms will catch up. Okay. So, like, if you go onto LinkedIn, for example, and you try and do, like, the limitations are pretty great compared to what you can do on Facebook. So, I'm hoping other platforms catch up.
LinkedIn is very expensive. It's for B2B more.
It is, but if you so like LinkedIn, the risk, so the CPCs are really high, or CPM is really high. Yes. So the learning curve is very steep. That you can burn through quite a lot of budget before you understand what's working. But we've had massive success with it. With B2B clients. What kind of products?
Like the product probably range a few $1,000s or something. You can't sell cheap stuff there, I guess.
No. Yeah, like they're very high lifetime value type products or services. But because the targeting is brilliant on LinkedIn. For B2B. So what we often find with them is that, yes, the cost per click and the CPM is very high, but the cost per lead is often the lowest, and the quality of the lead is often the highest. So if you get the campaign structure right, and you get the targeting right, and you get everything right, it's hugely successful. So, but the sophisticated, like, they've only just bought in retargeting, for example, earlier this year. And, you've only just been able to, like, simple things like this time last year, you couldn't edit an ad. Like if you set an ad up and you set it live and you realized there was a mistake or you wanted to update it slightly, you had to pause it and build a brand new ad.
Yeah,
like you couldn't edit it. Right now you can. So it's getting a lot better. Like this year has been a really big step forwards in on the LinkedIn platform, but it's still got some way to go.
Do you believe do you believe that Facebook and Google probably dominate 80% of all available digital advertising platform there is? Like besides like Tencent or something like that in China, but outside China, like is there any viable like platform outside Google and Facebook that you can like get a lot of customers besides those two?
I mean, they are the obvious places to start because the volume is so high. Obviously, some businesses just won't be suited to that. But for the majority, these are the obvious places to start. Okay. And they take up the majority of budgets as well. Like if you look at ad spend stats, you know, they take the lion's share. But I think on Facebook, in terms of where it goes, I mean it's changing all the time. There's certain things in the reporting that I think could be better. But I think a lot of the changes will depend on how people consume content. Right?
Exactly. I think there's a bottleneck there. How much can you push those contents out? I mean, people are like on Facebook like 4, 5, 6 hours a day already. I mean, how much content can you consume and does the customer really actually act on those contents? If I'm pushed like 1,000 ads a day, there's only so much I can do, right?
Yeah, I think it's all going to hit like a natural market cap. Like, so, there's only ever going to be a certain amount of inventory on Facebook. Like it's still growing, but the rate at which that inventory, i.e. new profiles, is going to slow down. So it's going to get more expensive, which means it's going to get harder, which means just like Google and PPC, like an SEO, like over the last 10 years, it's hugely more competitive than it was. And it's
Google inflation, we call it.
Yeah, sadly. But, I think that's going to happen with Facebook. But, like for me, as long as there are platforms where people are consuming content, as long as there are platforms where people are searching for products and services, there will be a way to market to those. People will never stop looking for stuff.
How do you see like AI and virtual reality, something that Facebook is and chatbot? So these are some of the new technologies that Facebook are pushing. How do you see that related to advertising? I assume chatbot is getting huge in Asia now with like we can save costs
massively. Chatbots, like so exciting. So I mean, we're testing some things out with that at the moment.
Please include us.
But like for you guys, it's perfect because you can, for example, you can run an ad that looks like a normal ad, but rather than going to a landing page or a form, it sends people into a chatbot thread.
Yes.
So you could get someone in. You could have a chatbot that says, "Hey, where do you need storage? If you've got any questions, start having a conversation." Which means the lead is that bit more qualified by the time it gets to you. Yeah. Hugely exciting. So all of those types of things, I think.
Will you guys be like mastering it and helping your clients in the future with those technologies?
Yeah, we definitely want to. Want to. Like,
keep me in the loop, man. I'm interested.
We'll get one up. We'll call it Kevin.
Yeah. But anyways, it's great chatting with you today. Anything else? Any like low hanging fruits or any pointers? You can tell our audiences if they want to get started with paid social. Like any points about setting an ad besides calling you guys, I guess.
Yeah, give us a call. I think the biggest advice I could give to someone who's new and just wants to try some things on Facebook or any paid social is just start quite small. Okay. So, have a very, very clear idea of what you want to achieve.
Okay.
Make sure you can measure it in a very tangible way. So if you are driving offline conversions, make sure you have at least some simple method of working out what the ROI is, and then start small. So just test a few things, test a few different ads, test a few different audiences. So test a lookalike audience versus an interest, all of that type of stuff. Just but start small and just see what works and build it up from there. So that's definitely my my advice for someone starting.
Great. If any of my audiences want to reach you for your help, can you give us a web address and how to contact you about your agencies, please?
Yeah, sure. So anyone, like, get in touch, ask questions, all that type of stuff. The website is overdrivedigital.co.uk.
Yeah.
My email address is john@overdrivedigital.co.uk, so feel free to drop me an email, or you can find us on social, Twitter, all that type of stuff.
Is it just Jon or Jon Quinton?
Just Jon, Jon, at overdrivedigital.co.uk.
Okay. Well, great. It's really great having you today. I've learned a lot about social and Facebook, and I'm sure my audiences really love it. If there's any other information, please go to my website and you can ask Jon, or you can visit Jon directly on his website. And we look forward to talking to you again, maybe in the future, maybe when chatbots more develop, and we can have another topic about whatever digital marketing platform you guys are expanding in the future.
Perfect. And thank you so much for having me. Great to talk to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jon. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Bye now.
Thank you for listening to Digital to Foot Traffic. Join our mailing list at digitaltofoottraffic.com for more of our digital insights and strategies.
Leave us a review on iTunes or your favorite Android apps and subscribe so we'll show you the second we launch a new episode.